So spring is around the corner and Lobloo, our sheep, is going to be sheared today. We are going to try a new shears that we bought specially for the purpose. Earlier we used to use a clipper and it was a very tedious job, it was very cumbersome and Lobloo was very uncomfortable with the process. Now with the new shears, hopefully the job is going to be done much quicker, it's going to be faster, cleaner, and Lobloo is going to be a lot less uncomfortable. Mind you, we do not have any use whatsoever of Lobloo's wool. The only thing Lobloo gives us is a lot of poop. And the poop, by the way, of the sheep is much better than the cow dung, no matter what the cow mafia might tell you. Smaller the animal, more nutrition dense is their poop. So Lobloo, much smaller than the cow, is going to have poop which is going to be more nutrition dense
than the cows. Now, coming to the shearing, why do we need to shear our sheep?
The three good reasons. She has all this winter wool which needs to come off because the summer is going to make her very uncomfortable. All this wool is for winter, and in summers this is going to potentially overheat her. Number two, all this wool is going to be lead to infestation of parasites and lead to a lot of diseases. And number three is that Lobloo is a prey animal, is a prey species, and it has a peripheral vision where when it's grazing on the ground it can look behind as it's grazing. It now, with all this wool around them, they cannot see behind them, and because they cannot see behind them, they spook very easily and they tend to jump about. They can sort of jump very abruptly and they can injure themselves. Now you might ask, sheep in the wild, they don't need any shearing at all. So why does domestic sheep need any shearing at all? Now that's because Lobloo over here is a domestic sheep, and any domestic animal technically is not natural. They have not evolved through what is called, what we know as natural selection. They have evolved through artificial selection, and that selection has been done by man over centuries. Animals like the sheep were domesticated by man and they were bred for their wool. They were bred to produce the quality and the quantity of wool that they are giving us now. So all of this wool is artificial. It needs to come off because we have bred them to become as woolly as Lobloo is over here. So it's not just the sheep, even the dogs, for example, the Chihuahua breed or any kind of breed that you see have evolved over centuries. They have been bred to become the way they have become. We have invested in the proper sheep clippers, and we're going to use these for the shearing rather than the antiquated clippers that we've been using all this while. And it does look a little professional, very heavy duty as well, and hopefully it should do a very quick job, very clean job, and a safe job. Satpal over here, he's got sheep in his house. पर आप किस चीज़ से करते हैं अपने भेड़ को?
सीजर होते हैं और उसको हम पहाड़ी में बोलते थे बिलान से।
ब्राउन से?
बिलान होती थी।
क्या होता था?
बिलान होती थी ना बाल काटने की स्पेशल शीप के।
हाँ, कैसे करते थे?
उससे तो एक एक करके काटते थे जैसे सीजर होती
और कितना टाइम लगता था करने में?
उसमें तो लग गया था आधे से पौना घंटा एक में।
Here we are. On वाइब्रेट कर रहा है.
But almost 2 days before the shearing, we need to give Lobloo a very good bath. And this bath is going to be given 2 days in advance because of the kind of thick wool that Lobloo has, the winter wool, and it takes that much long for it to dry before we can start the shearing process.
It's only been roughly 5 minutes and we've already done this job that could take us hours to do. Yeah, Lobloo is very calm, no problem at all. It really wants to get rid of this coat. It's really very uncomfortable. The summer is here and Lobloo has no need of this extra wool. This wool, why do we need to shear it at all? We need to shear it at all because Lobloo hair is going to overheat if you don't take it out. You get parasitic infections of all kinds because all the wool, all the parasites in the summers can get in. And number three, like I said, it has this peripheral vision. It needs to see behind. They have this vision, they can see behind, but with this wool covering the eyes, they cannot see anything at all, and that can spook them. They can jump very abruptly, break their legs, injure themselves.
इससे तो 5 मिनट लगने सारे
बहुत बढ़िया. अब अगली बार आप करोगे तो आप 2 मिनट में कर पाओगे. थोड़ा ध्यान से यहाँ पे कसते रहे. Very nice. Look at that. All of it in 5 minutes. हाँ, इसको थोड़ा कम कीजिए फिर के लिए. थोड़ा.
वो बाल काट के बारी तो खुश होते हैं.
Like Satpal was saying over here, they are very happy with this wool coming off. So all my PETA activist friends, please understand, if there is a domestic sheep, they need to be sheared. Those three reasons, that it overheats them, they're going to be miserable in summers, they're going to have all those parasites in their wool, and the sheep is not going to be able to see behind it. It's going to spook it, it's going to injure itself, break its leg, all those things. So this is what we need to do, because like I said, the sheep is technically not a natural sheep. This is not how sheep are in nature. Anything which was domesticated, like the sheep here, were bred over centuries in a process called artificial selection. They were bred for this thick wool. They were bred for the quality and the quantity of the wool. And we have a situation over here now that we need to intervene, take off the wool so that they can be comfortable, they don't overheat, they don't have parasitic infections in summer. Even for the dogs for that matter, dogs have also evolved over centuries of selective breeding, and that's why you have a Chihuahua, that's why you have an Alsatian, that's why you have all kinds of very funny breeds, because of artificial selection. And this is not only something that you do in the animal world, you also do it for plants. I mean, the plants that we have, the apple that we know of, the wheat grain that we know of, was not originally the way we know it. All happened because of grafting. Grafting in the case of plants, and selective breeding in the case of animals, domestic animals like the sheep or the dogs.
खुश हो गया बेचारा.
थोड़ा यहाँ से भी काट दीजिए. And all this wool has come out without a fuss, without any problems, without too much of time.
यहाँ तक 15 मिनट में इसका सारा काम हो.
15 मिनट में हो गए. तो ऐसा तो कभी नहीं काटा इसको हमने.
इससे तो मसाज भी हुई वाइब्रेट से.
हाँ. And we are done. Now look at Lobloo, how different it is. Without all the wool, this wool is really very warm, I'll tell you. And this was winter wool, it had to come off. Otherwise, Lobloo would overheat, it would be uncomfortable, it could get all kinds of parasites in him. This did a really good job, a clean job. And without any nicks and bruises, there's none at all whatsoever.
बहुत बढ़िया ट्रिमिंग हुई इसकी सर, बहुत बढ़िया कटिंग हुई. उससे तो जो सीजर से ना उसमें कट भी लग जाते थे बेचारे.
इसमें तो एक भी कट नहीं है यार.
स्किन में कई बार कट लग जाता था उससे ना.
हाँ.
और इससे तो बिल्कुल एकदम क्लीन कटिंग.
बहुत बढ़िया.
बराबर
और इसमें आप कह रहे थे इसकी मसाज भी होती है, इसमें थोड़ा बहुत हिलता है।
वाइब्रेट करता ना ऐसे ऐसे करके, ऐसे तो मजे आ रहे
हाँ।
बड़े मजा आएगा इसमें।
ये तो पीसू भी पड़ते हैं ना इसमें।
आप पीसू पड़ देते हैं
हाँ।
को, गर्मी का सीजन स्टार्ट हो गया तो गर्मी भी लगती है इनको बहुत ज़्यादा,
हाँ।
और ये बिल्कुल सुस्त हो जाते बेचारे।
अच्छा। And this is all the wool that we took off. You don't look that cool, Lobloo, without the hair, but this was necessary.
साल में एक दो बार ही लगना हमारा।
अब इसको हम रेंट पे भी दे सकते हैं भाई जी. So anybody wants it on rent, please contact Satpal ji. Looks like it's gonna rain and it's gonna get a little cold, and looks like Lobloo is gonna regret this decision of sharing her today when it's gonna get slightly colder, but she's gonna be overall happy. All right, चलो ले जाओ इसको यार.
छोड़ो इसको।
Come on, come on, come on, come on, this way, this way. Come on, come on, come on. Move, 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 move. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Come on, 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 come on. Come on, this is your house.